Again, my name is Chris Brinkley. I'm excited to be here. Historical day. Love the stories and the memories that will be shared today. And just in my research of the 4 inductees, well deserved, and I'm really amazed at the path you took to get to the University of Tennessee at Martin and the legacy you left at the University of Tennessee at Martin. It's extremely impressive. For our 4 new Hall of Famers, and I do this every year, I just want to say to Dacotah and Mark and Katie and Ray that there is this morning, you're one person, and then after we induct you into the Hall of Fame, you're another person, you're a Hall of Famer. And that's a big deal. So from now on, for the rest of your life, you should demand that anybody who addresses you calls you a Hall of Famer. This is very important, and you have the right to do that. Jerry Carpenter's over there eating a big old giant piece of chocolate cake. What's up, Jerry? How's the cake? Is it good? Good? He's a 3-time Hall of Famer. 3-time. UT Martin, Weakley County, Tennessee. He's not Jerry Carpenter anymore. Yeah? 4-time Hall of 4? Wow. Okay, 4. He's Hall of Famer Jerry Carpenter now. He's not Jerry Carpenter. Tom Britt went in the Hall of Fame. Last year, Tom, is that right? Tom's a Hall of Famer. So you are a Hall of Famer now. It's a title, like if you get knighted, and you, like Sir Anthony Hopkins, Sir Paul McCartney, Hall of Famer Tom Britt. It was much easier. Tom's like family to me because we broadcast games for over 20 years. And the man's name is 2 syllables, Tom Britt. You don't know many people who have 2 syllables in their name. It's really easy to say. But after he became a Hall of Famer, he tripled his syllable count. Hall of Famer Tom Britt. And that's how I referred to him. So what I wanted to do for the inductees, and I try to do this every year, is how do you let people know that you're a Hall of Famer, right? So I've done some things in the past where I've got t-shirts made for the Hall of Famers that had their photo on it and it said, I'm a Hall of Famer. Now when you're walking around Walmart, people know you're a Hall of Famer. Hats, necklaces. I wanted to do the things that you put on cars like Domino's and Pizza Hut does, like the big magnets. I couldn't afford it because it comes out of my own budget, so we got license plates instead. So this year, I wanted to do something for the 4 Hall of Famers, especially after I did all of the research and realized that all 4 of you are so incredibly humble and kind, and you would never probably tell a person you're a Hall of Famer, but I want people to know. So what I wanted to do is in some neat, subtle way, let people know, kind of without you having to tell them. And I think that this is important, because I've learned in my years playing golf that if I'm on a golf course, and I'm at the driving range, and someone unsolicitedly comes up and wants to give me golf tips, they're terrible. They're not the people who should be giving me golf tips. But if someone downplays their abilities, they're probably really good at what they do. For example, if you were to ask someone, do you play pickleball? And they go, yeah, I play pickleball, I'm pretty good. That means they're terrible. Yeah. If you ask them, do you play pickleball? They go, yeah, I play. And you go, how long have you been playing? A little while, I get by. They will wax you if you play them with pickleball. So that's what I wanted to do for a Hall of Famers. So Ray, raise your hand there, Ray Williams. Put your hands together for Ray. I'm going to pick on you a little bit, Ray, because I know that if I go too far, you're just going to pick me up and carry me out of the room, right? So what I have done is I've designed a business card. Again, my budget, so don't get excited, and I'm not a graphic designer. And it just says, Ray Williams. Everybody see that? Nothing else. Now, purposefully, I left out a lot. There's no address, there's no phone number, there's no Insta handle, there's no QR code, there's nothing. But if you flip it, here's a magic trick. Hall of Famer. That's right. And each of you have one. Mark, Hall of Famer. Katie, Hall of Famer. Dacotah, Hall of Famer. Now here's how this works, Ray, and I would never tell you what to do or how to do anything. But just Ray Williams is pretty cool. But I Googled you, and there are like 200 Ray Williamses in the United States of America. And there are 500,000 people named Ray. And there are 2 million people in the world named Ray because Ray's a very popular name also in Hong Kong and Ireland. I didn't know that. So how many Ray Williams are there? A lot. How many Hall of Famers are there? Not many. How many Ray Williams, who's also a Hall of Famer? That man right there. Yeah. So show people that. So, not only did I make one, if you will help me, Rhino and Trudy, I made a whole box. You got a whole box of these cards. Ray's, and Katie's, and Dacotah's, and Mark's. Now, I had another idea. if you're in this room today, it's a special occasion. I got you all Sharpies. So if anybody wants your autograph today, you can sign your Hall of Fame card. So, put your hands together for our Hall of Famers. And with our real introduction, put your hands together for our Director of Athletics, our fearless leader, Mr. Kurt McGuffin.
Notice Chris did not say Hall of Famer Kurt McGuffin in front of that, and I didn't expect you to. Maybe someday, Chris, maybe someday. No, I appreciate Chris and all he does for this event, as well as some of our other people, and I'm going to take my time to thank them before I address our Hall of Famers today. Obviously, Ryan Rickman is our leader in this event. He's kind of the point person for us. So Ryan Rickman, Trudy Brinkley, Emily Ann Sparks helped with the registration, and Alex Bogus over here is doing some of our media for this. So please give them a round of applause, because I couldn't do this without the work of those three there. On behalf of athletics, because I'm really here to hear your speeches. We want to see how you guys did in public speaking here at UTM when you get up here. But on behalf of athletics, I want to congratulate you. This is the highest award that athletics can bestow on you for the work that you did on the in the competition of your sport. And we just want to congratulate you. We can't wait to hear some stories, but this day is about you. Hopefully our football team performs, which I think they will, but it's still about you when you come down there at halftime and see our crowd and see our kids performing for UT Martin, because that's what it's all about. We're very proud of our athletic department. We've grown a lot. Dr. Freeman came up here and said we're well over 8,100 students at UTM and growing, and we'll get to 10,000 in 2030. Athletics is a big part of that. We have grown the last 6 years by about 150 student athletes, and we're already up to about 472. If you add our staff and our student assistants that help us, we're almost at 600 people that work in athletics or perform for athletics. So that's pretty big. We've won a lot of competitions here in the last few years, but I'm really most proud about our athletes, about our graduation rates, as well as in the last 11 straight semesters, we've been well over a 3.3 GPA. And that's what it's all about. As you guys went on, athletics, and you learn how to compete, you learn how to time manage, but now you're having successful careers. And that's what we're trying to do as part of being an athletic department. We forget about that sometimes nowadays. When you see athletes in college making millions upon millions of dollars, we don't pay millions upon millions of dollars to Skyhawk athletes, but it's definitely part of the world we live in now. But we wanted to congratulate you, and we're glad you're here. I also want to recognize anybody else in the room that has been inducted to the UTM Athletics Hall of Fame. Please stand up. I know we got a table back there. We've got Jerry Carpenter over there, Tom Britt there. Look at that. So hopefully every year when we induct the next class that you come back so that we can congratulate you and you can welcome the new class of Hall of Famers in UTM athletic history. Thank you, and we can't wait to hear you speak.
All right, let's make history. We'll start with Dacotah. A North Dakota native. Left UT Martin as one of the most decorated rival student athletes in program history, undoubtedly. Heralded as a second-team All-American as a sophomore, she qualified for the NCAA championships in each of her first 2 seasons before redshirting her junior campaign to train for the 2016 Olympic Games, earning all OVC accolades 6 times in her 2 seasons as a Skyhawk, while also being tabbed the 2013-14 OVC Freshman of the Year. Her name is etched in the program record books while leading with the top 3 individual scores in school history in both air rifle at a 597, which is still a school record, and small bore at 585. Later won the women's air rifle title at the 2014 USA National Championships held in Georgia, and earned a spot on Team USA at the World Championships. I talked with Hall of Fame coach Bob Beard about Dacotah, and he just talked about how proud he was of what she was able to accomplish, and told me about the 597 out of 600 in the air rifle. Now, I'm going to do my best to try to explain this. If I mess up, coach, you just stand up and help me out. But he said it was the best performance he had ever seen. And coming from Bob Beard, that's a big, big deal, because he competed and he also coached and was part of it for over 50 years. And if I got this right, there are 60 total shots in the round, 3 rounds of 20 shots. She got 19 out of 20 perfect in the 3 rounds, so it was spread out evenly, and was almost perfect overall. the only misses in the 3 points were by the width of a human hair. Right. Is that right, Coach? That's right. That's how perfect that performance was. He talked about how proud he was at Dacotah for representing UT Martin at the national collegiate level and again on the world stage with Team USA. Ryan Rickman, Sports Information Director, talked about how Dacotah came in and won OVC Freshman of the Year. Really set a standard and never slowed down from there, breaking many barriers and benchmarks during her time at UT Martin and bringing national attention to the University of Tennessee at Martin. One of a handful of athletes to represent UT Martin on a global level. And I have a question, Dacotah. What's the hometown, North Dakota? What's the name of your hometown? Amenia. So I looked up Amenia because I wanted to know more about Amenia. And the population, a lot of people come to UT Martin, a lot of student athletes, and they complain because it's such a small town. I hope I have this right. The population of Amenia is 85. Is that right? 85 people. There are more men than women now, apparently. And I went to the town's website, and I want to visit. I don't know if you still know people there, have family there, but I would love to visit. Here's what's going on in Amenia right now. I thought this was cool. They've got a big levee project going on that's a big deal. There is a get-together at the park. They have bouncy houses, barbecue, and live music. But most importantly, the next city board meeting will be held at the beauty shop. And that is true. I love that. So that's a wonderful story, Amenia to Martin, to what you're doing now. Put your hands together for our newest inductee, Dacotah Faught.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. I'm truly humbled to be here and accept this honor with such distinguished other athletes here. It's truly an honor. First, I want to thank my parents for introducing me to the shooting sports at such a young age. I was able to compete, and they took me across the state and then eventually across the nation, and I knew that it took a lot of sacrifices, so thank you. And I especially am grateful for their love and support in my decision to come to Martin for starting my collegiate career. I remember my first few weeks in college being especially difficult. Being in a new environment, balancing athletics and academics was quite hard for me at the time. But I was fortunate to be surrounded by supportive professors who supported me not just in my academics, but also athletics, and also teammates that supported me, pushed me to be better, and then really valued friendship throughout my career. I would also like to recognize Danelle. Many of you know her. Her heartwarming personality and Skyhawk spirit created a welcoming and supportive environment, especially as a freshman who was a little bit lost. I would also like to recognize Mary Beard, or Ms. Coach, as the rifle team called her. From day one, she welcomed the team into her home, creating an inviting space for us, for the team to get to know each other, and created a community for us to start a relationship and grow as a team throughout the year. Her presence and support created a sense of comfort and belonging. And then I would not have come to UT Martin without Bob Beard. I remember opening a letter from him, a handwritten letter, and it wasn't short either. It was a very long letter asking me to come to Martin and see what UTM had to offer. The gesture spoke volumes. It told me that he was a coach who valued patience, attention to detail, and who genuinely cared about his athletes. Throughout my time in Martin, he proved that to be true, supporting myself and my teammates, both on and off the range. He has supported me in ways that I don't even know, and I can't say thank you enough. I'm also deeply grateful for Justin Grinolds. He started as my assistant coach, and then he moved up to a head coach. He was always there helping myself and my teammates problem solve and fix any solutions, always asking questions, trying to help us. He worked tirelessly, demonstrating that coaching is a full-time commitment, especially when coaching a certain stubborn athlete who did not always know when to take a break. So thank you. Justin was a voice of reason and reassurance throughout my time at UT Martin. Now, while I did not graduate from UTM, I've always felt that Martin was the right fit for me, and even coming back here, walking around the campus, I truly fell in love with Martin. Being inducted into the Hall of Fame gives me a sense of closure and lasting connection with the university, and for that, I want to thank everybody involved in the nomination and selection process. And to those who helped organize today's event, I am truly grateful and thank you.
Thank you, Dacotah. Congratulations. Good to see you, Justin. Next up, Mark Guy. Played football at UT Martin 1983 and 84, and then again the 1987 and 88 seasons. Hailing from Olive Branch, Mississippi, Guy was a veteran playmaker on a squad which went 11-2, won the program's lone Gulf South Conference championship, and earned a Division II quarterfinals berth in 1988. And along with finishing as runner-up and freshman of the year in 83, showed up his versatility by contributing on offense as a wide receiver, on defense as a cornerback, and also as a kickoff return specialist, finishing his career with 117 career tackles, 65 assists, and 51 solo stops, 11 pass breakups, and 4 blocked kicks, including one that was returned for a touchdown, 3 fumble recoveries, and an interception on defense. Then switched to receiver for his senior season, tallying 18 receptions for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns while averaging 13.7 yards per catch. And on special teams, he returned 35 kickoffs for 573 yards, an average of 16.3 yards per return. Following his career at UT Martin, enjoyed success in both the Canadian Football League and the Arena Football League, where he played for 3 titles and won 2. Hall of Famer Jerry Reese. Where are you, Jerry? Raise your hand. There he is, our Hall of Fame. Put your hands together for Jerry Reese, so supportive of the University of Tennessee at Martin. Said in his quote, "Mark was fast." No, wait, real fast. Jerry Reese has seen a lot of football players. That's a high compliment. Also said he was extremely tough for a $150 skinny kid. I love that. One of the first Joker-type players I saw at the college level. He played wide receiver, cornerback, punt returner, kick returner, gunner, punt rusher, kickoff cover, extra point, field goal blocker, and excelled in everything. And I didn't realize this. The best position might have been at running back, which he played in high school but never played in college. So could really do everything. Hall of Famer Jerry Carpenter, 4-time Hall of Famer, talked about how Mark was extremely tough as a player, how he wouldn't back down from anyone or anything or any situation. And players rallied around him because of that. Has always been a great ambassador for UT Martin in the football program, very supportive, including his son, who played for UT Martin also, and supported us then too. Tom Britt, who's back there, called the games in the 1980s. Said it was an honor to call Mark's games because he was an exciting playmaker and you never knew what was going to happen next. Words to describe Mark: tough, fast, playmaker, versatile, team player, supportive, one of the best one they ever made. Put your hands together for our newest member into the UT Martin Hall of Fame, Mark Guy.
Get prepared. Thanks. I really appreciate the Hall of Fame committee for this opportunity to be here today. It is a milestone, and to me, it's like it come full circle. You know, I've been through a lot of things. I've done a lot of things, and I'm just so grateful to be here. First, I'd like to thank my Almighty God. Had it not been for Him, I would not be here, because I went through a lot of trying situations. And he held me, he kept me. And I'm so appreciative, I'm so grateful to his grace and his mercy that he allowed me to be here today, to stand before all you people that love me, and I love you too. I love you, T. Martin. It's a great day to be a Sky Hawk. You know, I was at church last week and I was listening to a pastor, and he started his sermon off with, he said, just as simple as something that you're familiar with. He said, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see." I'm 61 years old, almost 62. And the UT Martin committee had to reach way back to find me. Way back. I mean, way back. As you notice, my picture is black and white, right? It's been 37 years. It's been 37 years, and Lord, I thank you for allowing me to make this day to be a Hall of Famer. You know, when I first got to UT Martin, I was asked a question. Well, my question, I had two questions. First was, where is Martin, Tennessee? You know, because I'm from Hardtime, Mississippi, you know. Never been anywhere. You know, so where is Martin, Tennessee? The second one was, what's a peso? So I had to learn something there. You know, as you can see, I played, as Kurt said, I played corner for the first 3 years, and then my senior year I played receiver. But I played everywhere. I did what the coaches asked me to do. And that was important to me, to be responsible to do what the coaches asked me to do. It's not like what they do today. I did what the coaches asked me to do. I took my assignments seriously. I did what they asked me to do. They asked me to play corner. I come in, I thought I was going to play running back. But they asked me to play corner, and I had never played corner before. And I played corner and almost got freshman of the year. I just thought that was pretty amazing. And then I went to wide receiver as a senior. But you know, most of all, I never really came off the field. It's just amazing how I was standing on the field waiting for the next group to come on, and I just don't get a break. I don't even get a water break. You know, when the only time I come off the field is when the field goal team went on to kick the field goal, and I was able to go and give me some water, and then I go back on. And that just happened year after year after year. You know, there are some important people that are not here today that I want to honor. And these two people here is my mom and my dad, William Henry Guy Sr. and Magnolia Guy. Now, these are some really, really strong people, and just about half the room over here is a lineage of them. So, I love my mom and dad. I thank them for the hard work and support that they put into me. It was very important for us to be hard workers at that time. There's also some brothers and sisters that are not here with me. Dorothy Mae Sims, Edward Lee Guy, Julius Henry Guy, Eloise Guy Stephan, Walter James Guy, and Robert Earl Guy. They're in heaven watching us right now. Those are my brothers and sisters. So if you haven't noticed, what they didn't say is, I am the 17th child of 20 kids. Now, I've heard all the jokes. How about that? So you don't have to think, whatever you're thinking of, I've heard it already. They pretty much gave it to me. But I'm the 17th child. So I'm going to list the ones that are here today. My sister Dolores, stand please, right quickly. Alfonso, my brother Joe, my sister Sheila, my sister Constance, the baby sister, Denise. Who am I missing? Julia, and my sister Earlene. Yeah, they are here today, and the rest of them could not attend. So we have a large family, and we come with it's a lot of us. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Vanessa Guy. Vanessa was my best friend for 33 and a half years, and God came home and came down and decided they needed an angel and came got her. So I know that she's watching us at this time. So one of the stories back in the day when we were in Hardtime, Mississippi, I was standing in the cotton field one day, and we were chopping cotton, and I saw a big tractor go by, and I was like, man, that's amazing. And it just has all these planters and stuff on them. And I said, one day I'm going to be a farmer. So I stood up in my row, and I said, and we were all chopping cotton, and I said, you know what, I'm going to be a farmer one day, and all y'all going to work for me. My sister Denise stepped out of her row and slapped me in the back of my head and said, boy, get back to work. I had to change careers at that time. So next I decided I want to be a football player. I want to be a pro football player. My first organized coach, Scott Sampson, standing back there. Scott, with the blue shirt on. Scott and I, we connected in middle school for about 45 minutes. We worked out a plan. I scored about 4 or 5 touchdowns in a quick time period. Scott, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And the legendary Coach Poole back there. This is my high school coach. Coach made me believe that I could do anything. And I didn't weigh nothing. But he would give me the ball 33 times a game. And I looked at him, I thought he was crazy. I really did. But every time he gave it to me, I gave it to them. So I met him about 4 or 5 years ago, and we shook hands, and he told me a quick story. He said, Mark, he said, you're the only player that can be at full speed and you can change direction and run up a tree. So I looked at him. I really didn't grasp that at the time. So I was in my backyard one day, and I saw a squirrel running across the way. And that squirrel was running, and then all of a sudden a bird jumped around, a hawk jumped down at him. He changed direction, ran up the tree, and looked back. And I said, wow, that's impressive. And I thought about what Coach had said about me, and I was like, man, that just kind of took me out of my element. Yeah, it took me out of my element. Jerry Reese. When I came to UT Martin, I said he wore 13 as a freshman, and I was watching him play. And I said, I'm going to take that guy's spot right there. I'm going to take that guy's spot. Well, you see where he got me, right? I couldn't take his spot. I had to take somebody else's spot. But man, there were so many times when I was getting ready to make a tackle, and Jerry just came through and with that 160 pounds just wiped the guy out. And I was like, whoa, thank you, man. I appreciate it, because I didn't want to hit that dude. He would slam his 160-pound body into a 230-pound guy. Just slam it to him. And I was like, wow, man, that was amazing to me. I was just standing there looking at that. Yeah. But I tell you, back in '86, when I went to the PE complex, Alex Haley was here. He came and talked to the student body. Alex said, and I'll never forget it, he said, the people that you've known in high school, sometimes you'll forget about them. It'll take about 20 years. You'll forget most of them. He said, but the people that you meet and greet in college, you'll learn to love for the rest of your life. And that's my best friend in the whole wide world, right there. I'll never forget him. If you notice that there's a split between my career, I think I left. I gave up, and I went home, started working at a soap factory. Thought I was going to make a life that way. I went home and tried to help my mom and dad. And I have a nephew there. His name is Thurman. He's here from Chicago, right in the blue shirt. Thurman, we were sitting there, and Coach Shanks had called me, and he said, hey, Mark, here's an opportunity for you to come back to college, and you can play. We did a coaching change. You can play. I don't have a scholarship for you, but you can earn one. So I thought about that, and I thought about it, and I got my bags, and I put them in the car. As soon as I got them in the car, I took them out, took them back in the house, and I went in the house, and I sat down, and Thurman came in and sat down across from me. He said, just think about it. 30 years from now, you'll be making soap. 30 years from now, you'll still be making soap. And we laughed. I mean, we laid on the floor, laughed. Once we stopped laughing, we got up and said, hey man, help me get this stuff in the car. And I came back to Martin. I ended up calling back and talking, and I said, I'm not leaving here until I have that degree sent to the University of Tennessee. And Lord have mercy, I got it. Bill and Susan and Preston Batten. Please stand, please. They're here from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. As a rookie, I walked out of the dressing room of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and Bill was standing outside. He was handing out cards. Commercial real estate, and they were getting ready to kick me out of the University of Regina, and because my tenure was over, they had cut all the guys they were going to cut. And I was just a little scared, rookie. So Bill gave me a card. He had a place for me to stay, and we became friends from that time. And I am so grateful for Bill. Forever. Miss Sophia Guy. Miss Sophia Guy, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life again. It's been 38 years, and I just want to spend the rest of my time with you. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I've won a lot of championships. I've won Chickasaw Conference championships. I've won Gulf South Conference championships, Western Conference championships, Arena Bowl championships, but now I'm a UTM Hall of Fame. It is a great day to be a Sky Hawk. Like I said, amazing grace, how sweet the sound, who saved a wretch like me. Once I was lost, but now I'm found. What is it? But now I see. It's a great day to be a Sky Hawk. Thank you. Thank you.
I also want to mention that I was stuck there, isn't it? Jerry Carpenter was telling me, and Mark, make sure you're listening, that he told me about all the conversations that Hall of Famer Jerry Carpenter and Hall of Famer Colonel Kaler would have about you and about how important it was for you to go in the Hall of Fame. Colonel passed away a few years ago, but I know he's smiling right now. And you said something else that I want to kind of jump into. And you just talked about how people believed in you more than you believed in yourself at times. So it's a reminder that I tell myself, and I hope everybody in the room remembers this. If you have an opportunity to believe in somebody, do it and tell them, because it matters. Because I guarantee you at some point it mattered in your life. Okay, next up, Katie Jackson. Jackson was a standout performer on the soccer pitch, where she tied for the most OVC Offensive Player of the Week honors with 4 in school history, and earned all OVC honors in 2003. The Franklin, Tennessee native ranked 2nd all-time in program history in points with 70, 2nd in goals with 31, 5th in shots with 181, and 6th in game-winning goals with 6. She also still ranks in the top 3 in UT Martin single season history in goals with 16, that was in 2003, points 35 in 2003, and game-winning goals with 4 in one season in 2003. Her best performance came against Eastern Kentucky in 2005, when she became just the 3rd player in school history to record a hat trick, 3 goals and an assist in that matchup. We talked with Coach Nathan Pfeiffer. Coach Pfeiffer said, KJ played a huge part in turning the UT Martin soccer program into a competitive conference opponent. She was an excellent player that always gave her best. KJ always played with a smile and kept that mood of the team light as she helped lead the team in a positive direction. Definitely deserving to be a UT Martin Hall of Famer. Where's Danelle? Danelle's back there. I talked to Danelle about Katie for about 20 minutes. And Danelle just talked about how much that you helped her with her kids, Ashley and Dominic. Danelle was a single parent, and if you ever saw Danelle during those seasons, the kids were always there at work, at the games, everywhere. And Katie was exceptionally kind to both of them and was truly positive and made a positive influence in the lives of her kids and her family, and a true role model. What Danelle also said, I think is pretty cool, is there is a picture of Katie that hangs in Danelle's office that Katie gave to Danelle, that picture, And every time she looks at it, she smiles. And that's every single day. Words to describe Katie would be competitive, dedicated, kind, humble, unselfish, a great teammate, a great person, and a sweet spirit, which might be the highest compliment of them all. Put your hands together for our newest inductee into the UT Martin Hall of Fame, Katie Jackson.
Thank you. I'm a little bit shorter. So, thank you for everything. This is incredible. Danelle, and seeing Danelle and Julie here. Julie actually, she is the reason I'm here, because she recruited me. And we spent many conversations, and she spent many conversations in convincing me to come to UT Martin, because it was in the middle of a cornfield. So it took a lot, and I was from Franklin. But it's been 20 years since I last stepped onto the field as a college athlete. But standing here today brings so much of it rushing back. The drive here actually reminded me of that. A lot of memories that were happening throughout that drive. My sister drove me here like she did 20 years ago. And just so many memories flooding back from that. Memories filled with teammates, long practices, sore muscles, and an unshakable sense of purpose. And honestly, I don't think any of us envisioned being here today. When my parents and my uncle first put a jersey on me and sent me on the field at just 3 years old, only because my cousin's team was short a player. None of us could have imagined and known that moment would spark a lifelong love for a sport that I love, and eventually lead me here, standing in front of you in the Hall of Fame. God knew, though. He's been writing the story from the very beginning. And I want to start by saying something very clearly. This moment is not about me. It's about the one who carried me through every high and every low. Jesus is the reason I'm standing here today. And all glory goes to him. He gave me the gift of soccer, but more than that, he gave me identity, confidence, and a purpose far beyond goals or stats. Soccer was never just a sport for me. It was a space where I learned to lead, to serve, and to rely on a strength that's not my own. He took my passion and he made it purpose. If I remember for anything, I hope it's for how I loved others and pointed back to him on and off the field. To be honored like this 2 decades later is humbling, and I'm incredibly grateful. But no journey like this is ever done alone. To my mom, you have always been my biggest supporter and my safe place. Looking back, I don't know how you did it all. You carried so much on your shoulders, yet somehow you always showed up with love, encouragement, and strength. You were at every game, every school event, from countless hours on the road to sitting in the stands in all kinds of weather, cheering, praying, and sacrificing so that I could chase my dreams. You gave up your own time, your own plans, and often your own needs, so that I never felt like I was going without. But what I cherish most is not just that you were there, it's how you were there. You celebrated my best days, and you were there, you lifted me up on the hard ones. You reminded me that my worth was never in a scoreboard, but in Christ. You prayed over me, you encouraged me, spoke truth into my life when I needed it the most. Mom, this honor belongs as much to you as it does to me. You didn't just support my soccer journey, you shaped my life. You've shown me what unconditional love looks like, and you've modeled faith, resilience, and grace in a way that has shaped the very core of who I am. You showed me what it looks like to love with everything you have, and you've always been my reminder that faith and family matter more than anything else. You taught me how to be strong and soft, fierce and faithful. You didn't just raise me, you covered me. Mom, your strength, your prayers, and your unwavering belief in me are a huge reason I'm standing here today. I love you more than words can say, and I'm forever grateful for you. To my dad, thank you for your steady encouragement that you've always given me. Even when life was busy, I always knew you were proud of me. I always knew that you were proud of me, and that you've taught me lessons about hard work, determination, and standing tall no matter the circumstances. I've always carried those lessons with me, both on the field and in life. And for a couple of years, you weren't just my dad, you were my coach. Those seasons stand out to me because I got to see firsthand the way you guided, challenged, and believed in me, not only as your child, but also as an athlete. You pushed me to give my best, but you also reminded me that who I was mattered more than what I achieved. Your support has been a constant reminder that you believed in me, and that has meant the world. I love you, and I'm thankful for the role you played in shaping me into who I am today. To my stepdad, Warren, you have been such a blessing in my life. Thank you for stepping in with love, encouragement, and patience, never giving up on four sometimes hard to handle teenagers. Thank you for showing up to my games, cheering me on, and supporting me in ways that made such a huge difference, not just on the field, but in my confidence, my character, and my heart. Your guidance, kindness, and quiet strength have meant more than words can say, and your presence has truly shaped my life for the better. I'm so grateful that God placed you in my life, and I feel blessed every day to call you my dad. To my siblings, I can't look at y'all. Julie, Eric, and Kyle. Thank you for being my first teammates, my biggest cheerleaders, and sometimes my toughest critics, in a good way. From backyard games that got pretty intense to real competition, you taught me early on how to play hard, fight fair, and keep going even when things didn't go my way. You've always carried this strength and encouragement that reminded me to keep perspective no matter the outcome. You brought energy, laughter, and honesty that kept me both grounded and motivated. You never let me settle for less than my best. You challenged me, pushed me, and reminded me that competition runs deep in our family. Each of you shaped me in unique ways. You toughened me up, you supported me in ways only siblings can, and you kept me humble through every season of life. But more than anything, you believed in me, sometimes even more than I believed in myself. That's why I'm here today. Thanks, Kyle. And when I doubted if I was good enough, you reminded me I was. When I questioned if I could push through, you told me I could. Your belief gave me strength when mine was running out, and that's something that carries me forever. And of course, the memories make it all even sweeter. Eric and Kyle being my goalies during training sessions in the middle of summer. Kyle turning into a full-on commentator, filming my team's game tape. We had to watch it on mute. And Julie right there, always making sure I never forgot where I came from, inspired me with her own dedication as an athlete. Those are the moments that remind me how blessed I am to have you three. Mom always said that we'd be best friends one day, and well, here we are. I'm so grateful that God chose you guys to be my family, and I couldn't have done this without you. To my granny. This one's hard. Because she would be sitting right here on the front row, probably with the camera in one hand and a Kleenex in the other. She was there every time. Granny didn't miss a single thing. Not one. Not a game, not a school program, not even a random Tuesday scrimmage. She was actually there when I tore my ACL on a Tuesday scrimmage. And cheering like it was the World Cup every single time. But more than just showing up, she poured wisdom, encouragement, and faith into me. Her prayers covered my life, her presence anchored me, and her love is something I carry with me every day. She wasn't the loudest in the stands, but you never had to wonder if she was there. You could feel her presence, steady and constant. She had this way of making me feel completely seen and completely loved, no matter how I played. Granny wasn't just my cheerleader. She became Granny to everyone who knew her. Her warmth, her kindness, and her faith just overflowed, and she welcomed people in like family. She reminded me often that my worth wasn't in what I accomplished, but in whose I was. She poured Jesus into my life through her faithfulness, her joy, and her unconditional love. I miss her deeply, but I know she's with me right now, has the best seat in the house, and I know she's proud. To my sisters-in-law, my nieces, and my nephew, I want to say a special thank you for being here today. It means so much to have you here cheering me on and celebrating this moment with me. Your support, your love, and just the fact that you showed up today reminds me, again, how blessed I am to have family that stands beside me in every season. To my teammates, you are more than just players on the roster. You are sisters. We went through it all together. Wins, losses, injuries, comebacks, and everything in between. You made me better. You pushed me to lead, to grow, and to dig deeper. I learned as much from locker room conversations and long bus rides as I did from drills and game film. Thank you for the laughter, the memories, and the lifelong friendships. To my coaches, thank you for seeing more in me than I saw in myself. Thank you for believing in me, for pushing me, for teaching me lessons that go far beyond the soccer field. You helped me grow in character, in discipline, and faith. The lessons I learned under your guidance continue to shape the person I am today. Finally, I want to thank UT Martin for giving me the incredible opportunity to learn, to grow, and to play the game I love. The lessons, friendships, and experience I gained at Martin will stay with me forever and guide me in every area of life. This Hall of Fame induction is an incredible honor, but more than anything, it's a reflection of the people who shaped me, the Savior who sustained me, and the story he continues to write through my life. If there's one thing I've learned since my cleats were last tied and that final whistle blew, it's this: our influence lasts longer than our stats. What we do with our platform, how we love, how we serve, how we reflect Jesus, that's the legacy that really matters. It's a reminder that God can use every season of our lives, athletics included, to shape us for his purpose. The stats fade, the trophies gather dust, but what lasts is the love we gave, the faith we carried, and the legacy we leave behind. If there's one thing I know now, it's this: what we do for Jesus and with Jesus matters the most. I didn't just want to be a great player. I wanted to reflect his love in how I played, how I led, and how I treated others. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for remembering the journey. Thank you to everyone who believed in me, prayed for me, and ran beside me. Thank you, Lord, for writing a story far better than I could have ever imagined.
Katie, congratulations. And our final inductee of the day, Ray Williams from the UT Martin football team, 2005 through 2008. Put UT Martin football back on the map by helping the team to its first conference championship during the Division I era. That was in 2006, Coach Simpson's first year. The Alabama native was named an All-American and All-OVC first-team defensive lineman in 2008, while also earning All-Conference second team in 2007, finishing his career with 137 total tackles, 58 solos, while racking up 16.5 tackles for loss. The defensive stopper led the team in sacks each of his final 2 seasons and racked up 9.5 sacks for his career. Additionally, he added 8 quarterback hurries, 2 fumble recoveries, and a forced fumble, and after his career with the Skyhawks, went on to become a world-renowned powerlifter, setting numerous world records. Now, if you don't know this, I'm going to tell you about this. We're here to celebrate your football career at UT Martin, but what you did after UT Martin is amazing, and many of us in this room are among the 200,000 followers you have on Instagram, where he is known as Optimus Prime. I think that's really cool. I mean, you got Kardashian numbers on your followers. If you haven't seen Ray powerlift, look it up. It's phenomenal. There are videos of him powerlifting over 1,000 pounds. Yeah. They have to special order weights. He has 6 spotters. People record him doing this. How much is 1,000 pounds? It's a small car. So if you have a flat tire, he's a good guy to know. You might not need a jack. Bart Ballou, UT Martin trainer, told me a great story. When Ray was playing football here at UT Martin, Bart was good-naturedly picking on Ray in the locker room, maybe the training room, just kind of goofing off. Bart kind of liked to tease and question toughness and all that cool football stuff. And so Ray had had enough one day, and he just gently picked Bart up and sat him on the trainer's table. And in the most gentle way possible, Ray proceeded to fold Bart up like a pizza box. His words. Bart didn't pick on Ray after that. Not anymore. Now there's a rumor, and I don't know if this is true, but there is now a rule or a law at UT Martin that is because of you. And if I mess this up, I'm sorry, because other people told me. But you once set your feet on fire at a step show. Is that true? That is true. So now the rule is no fire at the step shows because of you. Nick Lynn said, when we needed a quarterback presser, we knew without a doubt he was going to get it. Coach Jason Simpson said, great person, quality player, great teammate, coachable, improved every year with his dedication and work ethic, has represented this program well with numerous accomplishments since graduating. Words to describe Bray: strong, dedicated, good-hearted, one-of-a-kind, no doubt, gentle, great player, and even better person, a motivator. Put your hands together for the newest member of the UT Martin Hall of Fame, a man who can lift over 1,000 pounds. We don't know many of them. Ray Williams.
I figured he's gonna throw me around.
Whoa, hold on. Not very much for prepared speeches. I just decided I'm gonna come up here and just let it, whatever happens, happens. Coming from Demopolis, Alabama, my grandmother caught me stealing one time. And my grandmother told me that no matter what you do in life, your name will always go further than you ever go. Your name will always precede you. So, don't mess up your name. And that's something that has stuck with me for 38 years. Long time. Everything I do, I try to do it as a good person. Even though we all make mistakes, we all fall short. It's life. But the thing is, what you always want to do, you always want to strive to be a good person and not stain your name. So here at UT Martin, I've got so many stories. I was a football player. First thing that we ever learned about UT Martin was that the dorm that they all put us in for summer camp, McCord Hall, it was haunted. So, like all the freshmen, wait, is it really haunted? Because you go to the shower and it's like showers come on by themselves. And no way. So we had freshmen sleeping in cars. I'm not staying in there. But football taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about life. The one thing I learned coming out of high school was we don't lose. Losing is not an option. And that took me a long way because it taught me how to work. Standing up here, being able to say I'm a Hall of Famer is almost unbelievable because I was not the most talented person on any football team I ever played on. We talk about powerlifting accomplishments. I am not the most talented person in the sport of powerlifting. Never have been. But it's one thing I always say, you will never outwork me. You will never outwork me. And the one thing that I strive to do now is, get a little older, get a little grayer, is to pass those same lessons on to my kids. I have my two sons right here, my first and second born. And I always want them to know it doesn't matter how you start. It's only about how you finish. And I say that because, and my sister's right here, we were sharing stories on the way up here. We were dirt poor. We had nothing. And through working hard, giving it everything we got every day, and above all, being grateful. Because today, it's so easy to say you're tired. It's easy to say, I don't want to do it anymore. But you want to know what's easier? Just be grateful. Because I heard a story. there was a man sitting in a expensive car, and a man in a more expensive car passed by. So the guy said, "I want that car." But there was a man sitting on the bus stop who saw the man in a less expensive car and said, "I wish I had a car." And then there was a man in a wheelchair looking at the man at the bus stop. "Man, I wish I had 2 legs to get up and get on the bus." And there was another man looking out the window, and the guy in the wheelchair wishing that he had the health to be outside on his own, just going through life. But the point is, no matter what the situation is, just be grateful. Just be grateful. It doesn't matter what life throws your way. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get rocky. Just be grateful. And that's pretty much how I move through life now. You know, I left UT Martin. Half of the people I come into always swear they know where UT Martin is. And I'm pretty sure everybody that went to school here knows what I'm talking about. "Where'd you go to college?" "I went to UT Martin." "Oh, I know where that is." "No, you don't." Cut that out. No, you don't. Unless you drive trucks, you do not know where UT Martin is. So I left Martin in 08. And I'm not gonna lie, the first day after I graduated, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just remember sitting, I was holding my oldest son, I was holding him in my arms. Like, so what do I do now? I had no idea. But got to work, started coaching, and my life has been so blessed. You know, several powerlifting championships later, a doctorate degree. I'm a special ed teacher, working on being a special ed teacher now. Pray for me on that job, please. Kids are different these days. But the biggest thing is, I want to thank my teammates, because no matter what can be said about anything I've ever done, and I'm far from being done, but I wouldn't be where I am now, accepting this lifetime honor, if it wasn't for my teammates, if it wasn't for the Dontrell Millers, the Nate Wilsons, the Tadale Birds, the Jason Hockadays, the David Gilmores, Marquisio Jackson, Will Grant, Joe Kilpatrick, you know, rest in peace. I played beside some great people, and it is hard. Anybody that accepted an award today, right now, probably has about 20 names that they can roll off right now that helped them get to this point. My teammates were my brothers. And the crazy thing is, as we get older, you keep in contact with those dudes. We all tell lies now. "Hey man, remember that game I had 10 sacks?" Like, no, you didn't. And you know, that's that fraternity, that's that brotherhood that it never goes away. Like, it could be, it's some people probably gonna see today I haven't seen in 10 years, and it's gonna be like we haven't been apart since we graduated. That's the good thing about UT Martin, man. UT Martin was small enough, yet big enough for me to have a great time, be a good football player, and get a degree. If I would have went anywhere else, if that recipe was any different, I would not have graduated. UT Martin was just right for me. And I tell people that all the time. Why'd you go to Martin over such and such? You know, because UT Martin was just what I needed at that point in my life. And I'm a proud UT Martin alum. I talk about this place so much. When I was coaching in junior college, I sent a couple of my guys up here just because this place is great. And if I'm not mistaken, Terry Williams, he's still playing in the Canadian Football League. You know, that was one of the guys I coached in when I was in Mississippi. He'll probably be up here in the next couple of years receiving the same honor because he was a good one here. You know, UT Martin is home for me. UT Martin will always have a special place in my heart. And I know everybody is probably ready to get some sleep, take a nap. I know in between people talking, you know, I'm a Bama fan, so I had to check the score. You know, right now, Bama's winning, Roll Tide. So, man, the best start here at UT Martin. So, I want to thank you guys. Like I said, I don't prepare speeches and just let it fall off the heart. But love you guys, and yeah.